just sat down to try and do a little video for today, and I've been attacked by this hairy beast. I think she's hungry. But yeah, I've just been on the phone for about a half an hour chatting to a friend of mine, and we were talking about training and looking, training for events. He does kickboxing, or had done kickboxing. I was talking about kind of my jiu-jitsu and my swimming. I was out in the lake again this morning. I could get down you get. And the kind of conversation was basically on like going between being very, very structured and religious with training, and having the flexibility of just playing and doing a bit here and a bit there. And I sort of flip between the two. So right now I'm still in sort of transitioning between the play zone of just going out and having some fun and going to the gym when I fancy it, and going for a swim when I fancy it, and going for a run when I fancy it, and about to kind of pivot into a fairly intense period of training for this swim run. And one of the things that kind of occurred to me there, and I spoke to Seb about it, it's kind of weird because for me there's always this grey area between what I do personally and what I do with the business. Because doing an event like this, the swim run, doing my jiu-jitsu, doing the ultras, doing the Ironman, doing all these things, they're really personal achievements for me, and they've meant so much to me when I've done them over the years. But they do also come feed into my brand and the kind of the professional identity I have, I guess. And it's a weird one because this grey area, or this blurred line between the two, makes it almost difficult for me to discern whether or not, am I doing this just for me, or am I doing this because I can get some lessons from it and share them from a stage, or write about them in a book or an email. I know I've talked about that a little bit in these videos in the past, but it's always a kind of a strange one because I've always done it. Like ever since I left university and started working as a PT, from training and running marathons to just training in general, all of those things, they just became a part of, that of what I do. So literally for half my life, that's what I've done. So maybe there is no line. Maybe it all is just one and the same thing. But it is a really kind of important thing for me to have these, experiences. And actually, the funny thing was, right, a few years ago, I was doing a seminar and in Dublin, and it was called the Running Mojo, and I had some guest presenters there, and I told the story of how I trained for a marathon with just 2 runs a week, and that was my kind of the spearhead of my iMarathon training program, which has 3 runs a week. But I wanted to train for a sub 3 hour marathon with just 2 runs a week, and I did it. I literally snuck in there with something like 2:59 and a bunch of seconds. And so I told this story, and somebody in the audience had left some feedback afterwards for me, very kindly. I know who it was, and I thanked her for it, because one of the things she said was that she's heard that story several times before, and when am I going to get another story? And that was kind of the moment where I realized that, I had been. I mean, that was a tremendous achievement for me to run a sub 3 hour marathon and to do it just 2 runs a week, and it sort of really did spearhead my launch into training programs that I now have an iMarathon, iHalf, I10 projects, all based on the same principles of less is more. And so it was a kind of a big thing for me, but I'd probably been dining out on that story for maybe 3 years by that point. And I realized that I needed to just go out there and challenge myself again, which is essentially what I did. And later on that year, I did the 10 marathons in 10 days. So there we go, must have been 4 years ago. So it's always been a blurred line, the personal and professional motivations for doing these challenges. But I haven't done anything probably since June last year now, with a 100-mile ultra, and I've got the swim run at the end of or sometime in September. I haven't confirmed the dates yet. And between times, I've not really done anything apart from a bit of jiu-jitsu. Been getting into that, and some bits and bobs of training and swimming and whatnot. So it's which has been fine. I can get stories out of that. I seem to be able to get stories out of anything, and not just stories for the sake of them, but lessons that I learn from, and then I share these stories and I share these lessons with whoever's cares to listen, from either a stage or when I'm writing emails and articles. So looking forward to getting stuck back into this next cycle of training. I'm not going to really throw myself into the running side just yet, but I'm going to start easing back in a bit more now. I did a good 2K swim this morning. I felt really strong again for that. And the running's going to be, it's a 40-mile fell run, so it's going to be take some serious training. But again, probably no more than twice a week is likely to be my max. So that's been me for this Sunday. And on top of that, I'm kind of focused on this week ahead, feeling really motivated, feeling really kind of amped up for this week to come. Anytime I'm waiting not just for feedback, waiting for things to come in, and it's that kind of anticipation that always makes me feel very excited and motivated. And 9 times out of 10, probably more than that, in fact, it's come back. Things have come back negative, or they come back without the response that I was hoping for. But I still feel very excited about the waiting for that 1 time out of 10, or that 1 time out of 20, where it comes back with something, some good news. So I've got an exciting week ahead from that respect, and I'll keep you posted with updates when I get back on here again tomorrow. Bye for now.